everyone. So I'm coming to you live from my lounge room floor today because we're going to do some activity for a change. Well, look, you're not going to do any activity, I am. I just thought I would change it up and do something a little bit different with our Friday workshops. Today I really want to go through something that you may not think about, but something that you need to be aware of when you're training, and something that is going to come up when you start training. So what I'm going to go through is how to prevent, well not prevent, but how to train in a way and be aware of your body in a way to stop yourself from getting injured while you're training, and to also help with any niggles. You know, a lot of us, everyone does, everyone gets a little bit of a niggle here and there when they start training. So we're also going to go through things that will help with those little niggles, and also help you with, if you're a little bit more injury prone as well, to help with any injuries that you have. So it's very important that you pay attention to what's happening and pay attention to any of those niggles, because most of the time there are signs before you get a little bit of an injury. So what we're going to go through today is just a few various things that I come across a lot, things that are very common, so they may be able to help you at some stage or another. And what we're going to go through is a few like techniques, like stretching techniques, a few basic rehab exercises as well, just to help with different parts of the body that are prone to niggle and are prone to tightening up as well. That can cause you a little bit of an injury, or can cause you to have a little bit of a niggle. So first of all though, before we go through, if you do have an injury, like obviously, you know, you need to go see a doctor or you need to go see a physio, very important. But this is more for those that have really tight muscles. It's a little bit of a niggle. So if you have excruciating pain, or something is quite painful and it doesn't go away after a few days, and doesn't get better after a few days, I would suggest going to see a doctor or a physio, because you really need to make sure you're rehabbing your muscles properly and paying attention to the injuries that you do have. But this is more for those little niggles. Okay, and you know what, when you start training, when you start exercising, things that you may not have felt before, or niggles that you have never had before, they start to come up, they start to appear, because you're moving your body in different ways, okay? And most of the time, the way you've got to think of it is all the niggles and tight muscles, all that's going to do is draw attention to the muscles that actually need more work, or the muscles that need to be stretched out, okay? So don't think of it necessarily as a bad thing. It just means that you've got to be a little bit more aware of what's going on and try to be a little bit more educated, which is why I'm doing this today, on how you can help prevent it, or help to strengthen the weak muscle or loosen up the tight muscle, okay? So I've made a list just so I make sure I don't miss anything. So the first one is that we're going to go through is the shoulder. Now a shoulder is quite common. You know, I've had kind of niggles in my shoulder before, and most of the time what you'll find is that you'll get more of a niggle when you're doing something like an overhead press. You might find that you might have a little bit of pain. It's not a bad pain, it's more like you feel like your shoulder's catching, right, when you do an overhead press, and it's generally most of the time an overhead press. Now what I would suggest is, it depends on how locked up your shoulder is. A lot of the time it can mean that you're really tight around your trap and your neck area. It could mean that you're really tight around your chest area as well. So I would suggest obviously getting massages for your trap area, your chest area, stretching out your trap area. So the way that you stretch out your traps are, what you want to do is hold your arm down nice and straight, so you create a little bit of tension, and pull your head to the side. Oh, I just cracked. Pull your head to the side. Now a lot of us hold a lot of tension in this area here. A lot of us hold our stress here. And if you're working at a computer all day, I can guarantee you're going to be holding a little bit of stress there too. So it's very important that you keep that muscle nice and relaxed. Another way you do that is getting a massage, obviously. So you can really just stretch that muscle out there like that. Okay, so that will help. If that's really tight, that can pull on your shoulder. With the chest, so to stretch out your chest, you've got to be very careful. If you have a really sensitive shoulder, sometimes some chest stretches can be quite like harsh. So one that you can try to do, this one is more of a harsher one, but if you've got quite, let me just put that, if you've got quite tight chest, then you can do this one. All you got to do is put your hands behind your back like this and then open up your shoulders like so. One really good one is actually using the fitness ball. You know, the big Pilates balls. I don't have one with me right now, but it's hard for me to show you. But basically, what you do is have your arm up on the Pilates ball, and you just kind of let your shoulder rest on the fitness ball, and you just kind of roll it. Roll your chest out. And you should be feeling that in your chest area here. Okay, so first thing with your shoulder is you've got to make sure that these surrounding muscles are loose and they're not causing your shoulder to kind of lock up a little bit. And the third thing that you can actually do is start to get a little bit more movement in your rotator cuff. Okay, a lot of the times this can be, most of the time, the problem. So the way that you do that is, now you want to do it lying down, but I want to show you standing up. So what you want to do is, while you're lying down, you put your shoulder and your back like this, like so, lying down like this. I'm going to show you sitting up so you can see what I'm talking about. Now all you're going to do is basically keep your elbow in this position, and you're just going to move your forearm to there and then back up. Okay, so all you're doing, you're keeping this steady along here, and see how you're just getting a little bit of movement in your shoulder there. Okay, you'll probably hear a few clicks. That's what I'm hearing right now, is a few clicks. So like I said, you can do this lying down. It's probably best if you do have quite a tight shoulder, but you can do it standing up as well. So you probably do around about 20 reps for that one. You want to keep the reps nice and high when you're doing rehab or exercises to help with your injuries, and you want to do it really nice and slow as well, because it's more about you know, really activating the right muscles, loosening up the muscles rather than trying to get your heart rate up. Okay, so these exercises you tend to do maybe at the start of the session or at the end. Okay, and the second way that you'll do that is keep your elbow nice and close to your body, and then you're going to go out that way. So see, I don't have a great deal of movement right there. So you can see how we're really moving our rotator cuff here, right? But our elbow is staying nice and close to the body. Okay, and then you can also do it the other way, so you can actually be coming in. All right. And then same with this one, you can actually go back and forward. Back and forward. Okay, so that'll help loosen up the shoulder a little bit. Obviously you need a bit of consistency and you need to do it on a regular basis. And then the other way is just to kind of get some more rotation in here and really loosening up those shoulders. You know, if they are tight, don't make the mistake of not doing anything. You're just going to have to be very gentle, and maybe don't do any weight training on it, nothing too hard if it is causing you pain, but you really want to keep it moving. Don't just stop moving it. Even if you can only just get up to, say, here, even that movement there and gradually increasing the movement is going to help a lot more than just not doing anything at all. Okay, so like I said before, if it really is hurting you, then you need to go and see someone about it. But this is just for those little niggles, or you're feeling really quite tight, or it's kind of catching a little bit when you're doing shoulder press. Okay, the next thing is knees. So a lot of people have clicky knees, or just every now and then your knee might catch a little bit, and it's not necessarily painful, but it just feels like tight. And it cracks a little bit. So most of the time I find with clients, the reason, there's a few reasons, but I'm just generally going on what generally happens, because if I went through everything we'd be here for hours, but I'm just going to cover general points here. So most of the time what I find is when people's knees start to click a lot, generally their IT band, which is this, it's hard for you guys to see, which is this muscle that runs along, well it's a band that runs along here. Okay, Generally, most of the time, if your knee's niggling up, that IT band that runs down there is going to be very tight. Now, it's very, very hard to stretch that area. You literally can't stretch that area. So what you need to do is get one of those foam rollers and roll it out. I'm sure you've seen them at the gym. If anyone needs, because I've got my rollers out on loan at the moment, so I don't even have one here to show you. But if anyone needs to know how to roll their IT band out because they're having niggly knees, pop a comment in the comment box and I'll actually send you a video so you can know what I'm actually talking about. That's the same with anything on here. If you want me to show you a little bit more in depth, then I'm happy to send you a little bit more information. But yeah, so you'll see the foam rollers. You need to really start rolling out that IT band and making sure that it's nice and loose. And the first time that you actually roll it out, it will be painful. But if it is painful, that's a key indicator that's causing your knee to niggle and crack. So it's very important that you keep that nice and loose. Another thing that could be causing, look, there's a million things that could be causing it, but another main thing that could be causing it is actually your shoes. I find a lot of the time clients that are prone to knee niggles and knee cracking, a lot of the time their knees start to, their knees will start to be playing up. I'll be like, I'll be like, how long have you had those shoes for? So maybe you could be due for a new pair of shoes as well. And also as well, you've got to make sure that you, everyone should, but if you're especially sensitive, maybe go to like an athlete's foot or something like that and get your foot measured, next time you're due for a new pair of shoes, because you want to make sure that you're getting the right shoes that's going to support your foot properly. Because obviously if you have, a higher arch, then you need to make sure that you have the support on the other side of your foot, because otherwise that's going to make your foot turn outwards, which could affect your knees, your hips, your back, everything else. So, so if you do have that, check your shoes out. Find out how long you've had your shoes for, and maybe you're due for a new pair. So that's like a key little indicator as well. Most of the time with these niggles and most of the time with the injury, it's not actually, most of the time it's not caused by that actual spot. Like, for example, if you've got a knee injury, most of the time it's not caused by the actual knee. It's like a roll-on effect caused by something else. Like, for example, like you'll see, let's just say like tennis players, like you'll see, first of all, they might have an ankle injury, okay? And a few months down and they've got it strapped, right? They've got it strapped. A few months down the track, they might then have their knee injured and they've got it strapped, right? And then the next thing, they'll have a back injury. It all kind of rolls on, because there's got to be, when something's not quite right, if something's tight, something's weak, the other muscles start compensating, and that's when we start to run into a little bit of trouble. So this is kind of what we're going through today, is just to help you to make sure the muscles are loose. And that's why it's very important to stretch as well. So important. There's no point in building strength up but then not stretching or not getting massages or not foam rolling your muscles out. You've got to try to get that balance. That's why yoga is so great for people as well, because it's easy to go through a class and not have to worry about stretching. It helps balance it out. Okay, so that's knees. Now, what else have we got here? Your lower back. So lower back, really common one. There's a few reasons why. There could be millions of reasons why you get a sore lower back. But like I said, I'm just going to go through the basic ones. First of all, posture. Big one. Posture. If you've got poor posture, you tend to kind of be like this, hunching your back over. Of course your lower back's going to get sore, and when you're in that position, your abs actually switch off and it starts to call on your lower back, so of course it's going to get fatigued. So posture, number one, you need to make sure that you're standing up nice and straight. And I know it gets harder and harder as you get tired throughout the day, or you've been hunched over your computer desk all day. So that's where you're strengthening your core, so you've got to try to strengthen your core. to help support the lower back. So that's number one. Strengthening your core and improving your posture will really help to take the pressure off your lower back. And what you'll find, and I find with a lot of clients, is that when they first start, they might, you might be doing ab exercises, and a lot of the time at the start they'll feel it in their lower back. But as they kind of progress, and as you get a little bit more consistent with your training, you'll find that you'll feel it less and less in your lower back, and you'll find that feel the core exercises actually in your core and not in your lower back anymore. And you'll actually find you'll have less lower back pain. So very important, strengthen your core and watch your posture, number one. Number two is your hip flexors. Again, it has to do with sitting at a desk all day. So I don't know whether you can see, I'm wearing all black. I should have wore a different color top. But your hip flexors run down this way, okay? This way here. So because when you sit down, right, when you're sitting down, you actually shorten that muscle. So if you're sitting down all day, or in a plane or whatever, you actually shorten that muscle and it gets quite tight. And what that does is pull your hips, and then it puts more pressure on your lower back. So anytime any of these muscles around here, or any around here, they affect the way that your back and your posture is and your hips sit. So anytime that your hips are pulled in the wrong direction, to put it plainly, of course it's going to affect your lower back, okay? So there's a few ways that you can stretch out your hip flexors. A more gentle way is just doing this. So just stretching upwards. Okay, so that stretches all the front up here, also the hip flexors. You've got to be very aware and very conscious of what you're doing as well. The second one, I'll just put this up a little bit so you guys can see. I like this one. This one's great. It gets right in there. Is if you put one leg back and pop the front one forward, and then try to arch your back up as far as you can. And you should really feel that on this outer leg, this straight leg here, this one. Okay, and just hold that position there. So that's one of my favourite ones. Now you could actually be really locked up, and in that case you need to go and get a massage, and you need someone to really loosen up and get their thumb in there. Ask some of my clients, they've probably felt me do that, get their thumb in there and really loosen it up. And what are we at? Lower back. So also with your lower back, so that's the hip flexors. Also with your lower back, another big one is your hamstrings. So every muscle, all muscles in your body and they're connected in some way, right? Well, not all, okay, not all of them. I'm just saying that they connect to each other, okay? So when your hamstrings are tight, okay, hamstrings, which is the back of your leg here, when they're tight, so when muscles are tight, they shorten. It's connected up through here, so of course, when your hamstrings are tight, it's going to pull on your lower back as well. So sometimes that can cause a little bit of pain or a tightness in your lower back. So there's another couple of back exercises, stretches I'm going to go through right now just to show you that'll help with that. So obviously stretching out your hamstrings, number one, but these are a couple of lower back stretches that you can do if it's tight, and that's the reason why it's getting really sore, is if you bring your knees up to your chest like this. So this is a great one. And then you can kind of put one leg down and really bring your knee up to your chest as far as you can. And then what you're going to do is bring your one arm out to the side and pull your leg across your body. And just relax and allow your lower back to release. Now you can also do that one sitting up a little bit, so you can pop one leg down. No, it's very hard to see, isn't it, with the phone? Okay, and you're going to put one leg across. This hand, you're going to pull this leg that way, and then rotate the rest of your body around. So I can really feel that in my lower back. So those are a couple of stretches that'll help with your lower back as well. But all those stretches are actually in your, anyone that's training online with me, they're in your program already, and then clients already do that with you. But you guys can ask me one-to-one anything that you have any questions about. Okay, so back to what I covered before was your tight traps here. So there's another reason why your traps can get quite tight is because it can overcompensate when you're doing upper body exercises. So it can actually you know, be the big hero and start to, you know, that's the muscle that your body that you call on to do most of the exercises. So that's why it can tighten up as well. But a lot of that has to do with your posture. Okay, and when it comes to upper body posture, so you know, a lot of women especially have this type of posture, their shoulders forward and they're kind of hunched. Guys do too, but I'm just, you know, saying a lot of women do because they're more chest heavy. So the way that you help with this is we need to strengthen your thoracic spine, which is this middle part of your back here, okay? Strengthen your back as well, and also loosen up your chest muscles, which we went through before, and what that'll do is help pull your shoulders back, okay? Because a lot of the time you're hunched because the chest is tight and you're not doing enough back muscles. And a lot of the time, a lot of beginner people that I start with, a lot of the time I find they've never trained their back in their life. You know, they wouldn't even know how to activate the back muscles at all. So it's very, very important that you strengthen up your back, strengthen up that thoracic spine, which is the middle of your back there, and don't do too many chest exercises. So a lot of my female clients that, I mean, they might see now is that I don't do a lot of chest exercises. I might do a push-up here and there, but I always try to focus a lot on the back, because it's very important for your posture. So try not to do too much. If you're only doing a couple of sessions a week, a couple of workouts a week, don't do push-ups every workout, okay? Especially if you have bad posture, you've got to even it up. So what I tend to do as a general rule is do 2 back exercises to every chest exercise, or 2 back workouts to every 1 chest exercise. I know we want to keep this nice and toned in this area here, and guys, I know you want to build up your chest because you want to do it all the time, but you've got to even it out with your back workouts, otherwise you're going to start affecting your posture. Now I'm going to show you this one exercise which is great for your thoracic spine and it's great for your posture. It's called Superman's. Let's see if I can move this back a bit so you guys can see me. I have no idea if you can see me or not, but okay, so what you're going to do is let's see if I can move back a little bit more. Okay, so all you're doing is you've got to concentrate on that spot. So you've got to concentrate in the middle of your back, and you're really squeezing your shoulder blades together and really opening up the chest when you're doing this exercise as well, okay? So you keep your arms nice in front of you, and when you come back, you're just going to go open up the chest like this, and then back down. And then open up the chest, and back down. So very important while you're doing that exercise is you think about here, right? That thoracic spine. You're really squeezing that area, and think about the posture. And same thing again, you're not going for speed, you're not going for weight, so I wouldn't recommend putting weight on that. You just need to really focus on squeezing that area and doing high reps, so 15, 20 reps, whatever you can actually do. Will help open up that chest. You see that exercise? Anything like that, any exercises like that, right? See how you're opening up your chest and squeezing your back. So anything like that, even your reverse flies, so you might get like a rehab band or cables. I'm just trying to think of things that people can do at home, like a rehab band. So if you hold the band and just open up your chest, right? So you've got a little bit of resistance, but really opening up the chest and squeezing the shoulder blades. I don't know if you guys can see, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Okay, plenty of that will help with the posture, and of course that will eventually help with the tight traps. It'll eventually stop you from getting upper body injuries on your shoulders. See how they all work together, okay? What you got to remember is that all your muscles work together. So if one muscle is weak, there's another muscle somewhere that's compensating for that weak muscle. And what will happen is that muscle that's compensating will become tighter, or it'll become locked up. And then there'll be other muscles that have to compensate for that muscle that's locked up. So see how it kind of all fits together. So it's very important to try to keep these muscles nice and loose and really focus on your posture. Posture is very important when it comes to injury prevention, is really focusing on your posture. Your posture will help you do better technique when you're working out, and of course technique is everything, you know. You're going to get better results and less injuries, okay? So very important, you've got to focus on your posture as much as possible. Okay, so another one, and the last one is if you find it really hard to squat deeply. So it's hard for me to show you, but what you might find is when you, let's see if I can put this on my shoe. Oh, whoops. I don't know whether it's still there. Okay. Yeah, I guess I am. All right, I lost you for a second. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see my feet. Okay, so when you do yeah, you can. So when you do a squat, if you can't get down really far, what you'll see is that your feet start to turn in like this, right? Or they'll actually start to lift as you try to squat. So you're trying to squat and your feet will lift. Or you'll squat, you get to about there, and then your feet will come out like that. That's a bit of an exaggeration, okay, but you get the idea. But most of the time, what's happening there is you might be a bit tight in your calves, your hamstrings might be a bit tight, and you might not have a lot of mobility in your ankles, okay, especially in this area here and around here. So the way you help that is stretch out your calves. With your feet, it's very hard. Like, you know, you can obviously do some movement, but what you really need to do is go get a massage, okay? You need to get someone to get in there and really loosen it up. The only way you're going to know whether it's your ankles is, well, if you're by yourself, to know is if you're stretching out your calves, and it doesn't seem to help. You know, you've stretched out your calves, your hamstrings, and it's still going inwards, your heels are still going inwards, yeah, then you'll probably find that it might be your ankles. So that, and the other way that you're going to stretch out your calves, I'm going to show you a few ways to stretch out your calves. So most people know how to stretch out their calves, or like, you know, basic calf stretches, but one of my favorites is actually the downward dog. It's a yoga move. So all you're going to do is go up like this. I don't know whether you can see yet. And you're going to push your hips right up to the sky. Okay, and then you can kind of just move your feet and push your calves down into the ground. So I like to do that one before I do any squats, and I actually do that with clients that tend to have their calves that are really, really tight when they do squats, or, you know, their feet tend to turn in. So it's all well and good also to get to stretch your muscles, but sometimes you need to take it a little bit further. Sometimes stretching is just not enough. You might have been training a lot and, you know, you're stretching, but things are still really tight. So that's where your massage comes in, and also the foam rolling. So just to give you a basic understanding, around your muscles is something called a fascia, is your fascia. So your fascia is just like, let's just say it's like a thin net around your muscles, okay? Let's just say that. So it's a thin net around your muscles, and it tightens, okay? So it tightens as you you start training more and you're exercising more, it'll start to tighten, and it'll get to the point where it's tight. It's really tight, and there's no stretches that can loosen it. The only way to loosen it up is to get a massage to loosen it up and create more room around your muscles. Okay, so sometimes the only way to do that is massage and your foam rolling. Okay, you'll see if you've ever had a massage before or you've done the foam roller, you'll see how they compare to what your stretching does. Sometimes you just need that little bit of a step extra to really help loosen up the muscles a little bit more. I think that's all I wanted to go through. So I just gone through, look, the basics today. There's a lot of other injuries and a lot of other niggles and things, but I wanted to just cover the basics. Hopefully someone picked up something, it might have just been one thing that would have helped. You might have found that lately your shoulder's been a bit niggly and you've picked up a few points on how to, fix that or help to decrease, injuring it further. So number one, make sure that you are, your posture's good, okay? So it helps you do the right technique when you're exercising, because technique can really affect the way, it can give you injuries or affect the way that, your body compensates when it's exercising, and also watch your weight when you're exercising too. So always technique over weight. So you're better off, for example, if you can't do a squat properly and you're adding lots and lots of weight to your squat, but your technique's not 100%, you're going to injure yourself, or you're going to cause these little, your muscles to lock up, because if something's weak, so if your glutes are weak or your legs are weak or something like that, and you're doing really heavy squats, your body's got to call on other muscles, right, to help you get up in the squat. So very important to make sure your technique is 100% before you shove on lots and lots of weight, okay, because you will cause yourself injury, or it might not be an injury straight away, but eventually it will be. Number two is, so target your weak muscles. Technique. Number two is target your weak muscles. So you need to work on any muscle weaknesses that you have, and that is all about technique as well. So you just got to make sure that you surround your program with, make sure you have lots of exercises in there that are going to help target those weak muscles that you have. Number three is stretching out the tight muscles and getting massages, loosening up the fascia, with your foam rolling as well. And all of that together should hopefully stop you, or at least decrease you from getting an injury or any niggles. But like I said before, just because you're getting niggles does not mean that necessarily that you're doing things wrong or whatever. It's a part of the whole process, is that sometimes every now and then you will. Like I do every now and then too. Sometimes my knee just needs to click or something, or I might feel a little bit of a niggle in my shoulder, and I will do these exact techniques to loosen it up before I go ahead with the exercises, okay? So if you're feeling a bit of a niggle in your shoulder before you're about to do a shoulder press or something like that, loosen it up a little bit, see if it won't just go away because it needs to just loosen up, or warm up a little bit more. Okay, so very important, you just don't push through it. You try to do some of these exercises, warm it up a little bit, and see if you can not loosen it up before you go ahead and, stack a whole heap of weight on there. So if anyone has any questions, does anyone have any questions right now that they want to ask? You can just pop it in the comments box. Okay, and then if anyone has any questions later and you're watching this video later, just pop it in the comments box and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Like I say all the time, if you do have any questions, don't feel silly, all right? You're safe in this community to ask questions, because everyone else here is here for the exact same reason, and they're probably thinking the same thing as you are. And why not? Because at least I'm here, you can get the information that you need while I'm here, you might as well. So we'll leave it at that, and I hope everyone has an amazing weekend, and we will chat soon. Bye.